Connecting the Dots podcast, Kimmy Coco. How is everybody doing? We are here this week to discuss current events that went on while we were not with you, and so that you guys can weigh in and let us know what you think. So, Dom is here today. Hi, Dom.
What's going on, everybody?
And Jay Black.
What's going on?
As usual, we are here today. So much has gone on, y'all. It's summertime. Everybody's on vacation. Dom was in Phoenix. Everybody has been traveling back out there.
Kim been in the streets.
Right.
I've been outside. Not really, though. I feel like
Kim been outside. You got vaxxed up, like Juvie said. You vaxxed that thing up, and they ain't shut down since.
We gotta talk about that too.
Yeah. So that's we'll start off with that. So Juvenile, Mia X, who else is in that video? Manny Fresh.
Manny Fresh, yeah.
They remixed "Back That Thing Up,"
which is a classic by Juvenile.
Y'all know what it is for the 99 and the 2000s. And they remixed it and they changed the words, and it's for a promotion for a dating app and also to encourage people to get vaccinated. And it's called Vax That Thing Up. Google it, hashtag it, you'll find it. It's everywhere. Everybody's been talking about it. And I actually saw an interview with Juvenile that he did. And this man is super duper intelligent. Not like I thought he was dumb, but just the way that he presented himself in the interview and how he explained it, it was perfect. And I was like, people have been giving them hell on social media about that and how they're like, oh, you're leading our people astray. And I was like, really, y'all? Really, y'all? So they're leading the people astray?
Right.
Like all this other shit y'all be listening to on the radio and on TV and on the commercials and all that, but they're leading the people astray and they're misleading the black people.
This is exactly what we call the definition of selective outrage.
I was like, oh, okay, so you're gonna use sex as an incentive to get vaccinated, but hey, whatever it takes. We had to get booty to the pole, right? We had booties to the pole.
Yep.
You have to meet people where they are.
Yep. And I think that's the most important thing because, like, of course, I seen the song earlier this week, and I got a good laugh out of it. Like, I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good way to, like, once again, reach people that actually care, or maybe fans. It's just, once again, another way to reach people, but I didn't take it too seriously either. It's kind of like, it's kind of like if you gave me a bag to make a song about, getting backed up, I'd probably make that song too. Like,
It's selective outrage. And it's just crazy to me because, people are using the argument, the Food and Drug Administration has not approved it. Like, do you know how much shit you eat or take every day that the FDA didn't approve yet?
I mean, we know that people, like, we all do it. Like, we make arguments that fits our narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, you feel me? Like,
right.
At the end of the day, like, that's just what it is.
I was looking at a special, as a matter of fact, I think it was this morning on one of the on one of the magazine programs. I don't like to call them news programs because they're a little bit deeper. They did more research.
Yeah.
So like 2020 or 60 Minutes or one of those magazine programs.
I love those shows.
Me too, because they get deep. So what they were talking to people that have HIV and ALS.
Okay.
And the experimental drugs or the drugs that people are coming out with that they are quote unquote experimental, some people are actually promoting them because they're helping them. Just like, marijuana for seizures and stuff like that.
Right.
They never approved it for use of that, but people were doing it anyway. People were going to jail. People were moving. I say all that to say sometimes the FDA is behind the ball.
Oh, they are most of the time.
So instead of people getting mad about how fast they let this go on, we should be mad about how slow it takes them to approve other drugs. Like people that have HIV have been waiting for them to approve some drugs for them, and people with ALS and people with diseases that are wanting them to approve, like they fast-tracked this vaccine. And yeah, people are dying from HIV, people are dying of ALS, but the reason why they fast-tracked this vaccine is because 600,000 people died within 12 months. Like, I don't know how people forgot that fast, but do you guys remember a year ago how many people were dying
Yeah.
Do you remember how the governor of Georgia opened up Georgia in like April, May? 2 barbershops and beauty salons and gyms only, though. Like, everything was closed except where the black people go. So that, like, I'm not sure how people forgot the chain of events that led us to where we are now, but people have definitely lost their damn minds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dom. What were you going to say?
No, I was saying that's just the fact of the matter is kind of like we live in a society where so many things get shot at us within a short amount of time. I feel like even like from week to week on our podcast, it's so much more to talk about.
And then we get home, we're like, oh my God, like, did you guys see this?
Yeah. And even during the week, like we talk all weekend, like we send each other like, yo, did you see this? Or like, you know, because even the royal family of what, Haiti?
The president of Haiti was murdered, assassinated. His wife didn't get killed though.
Somebody told me she passed. I haven't looked to see if she.
Let's see the latest.
But like it's kind of like once again like that's major news, and like I feel like it's, you know, it's Sunday now. We're getting ready to head into a new week, and everybody just forgot that literally the president of Haiti just got assassinated. Like, and that's huge. That's crazy.
At his house.
At his house, and it's kind of like we just moving on, like, you know. So I feel like that's kind of like the world that we're in.
Well, Haiti, historically, you know, people really don't pay much attention to Haiti because it's led by black people. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
But that's why I always say, like, that's our, like, culture. Like, we supposed to pay attention to that.
Right.
We expecting other people to pay
it,
like make us pay attention to what we're supposed to pay attention to. Like,
so Martine Moussi is the wife of the president Jovenel Moise.
Yeah.
He was murdered. She was injured, and she has spoken out for the first time since the assassination.
Okay.
This is
I'm glad she
on
lived.
BBC News.
Okay. You know, Twitter, they be trying to kill folks off even if somebody definitely told me she had passed.
She said that she spoke of the moment that the assassins riddled her husband with bullets after bursting into their home in the middle of the night. Martine Moussi said the attack happened so quickly her husband was unable to say a single word. He was killed on July 7th by 28 foreign mercenaries. Mrs. Moussi was also injured in the attack and was flown to Miami for treatment. On Saturday, she posted a voice message on her Twitter page vowing to continue his work. A number of people have confirmed it is the president's wife they hear on the voice. And she said, quote, "In the blink of an eye, the mercenaries entered my house and riddled my husband with bullets." Mrs. Moussi says in the recordings describing the moment the attack killed her husband, "This act has no blame because you have to be a limitless criminal to assassinate a president like Jovenel Moise without even giving him the chance to say a single word," she said. She suggested her husband was targeted because for political reasons. In particular, mentioning a referendum on changes to the Constitution, which would have given the president more power. The unnamed people, she said, want to assassinate the president's dream. "I am crying, it is true, but we cannot let the country lose its way," she said. "We cannot let the blood of President Jovenel Moise, my husband, our president whom we love so much and who loved us in return, flow in vain." Mr. Moise, 53, had been president of Haiti, the poorest nation in America since 2017. His time in office was rocky, and he faced accusations of corruption, and there were widespread demonstrations in the capital and other cities earlier this year. Parliamentary elections should have been held in October of 2019, but disputes have delayed them, meaning Mr. Moussi has been ruling by decree. He had planned to hold a referendum on the proposed constitutional changes this September. In February this year, on the day the opposition wanted him to leave office, Mr. Moussi said an attempt to kill him and overthrow the government had been foiled. It is still unclear who organized Wednesday's attack and with what motive. A number of questions remain unanswered. This is horrible.
Yeah. He literally got assassinated.
So they do have some suspects in custody.
They do?
Yeah, they arrested some people.
17 people were detained in Port-au-Prince after a gun battle. 3 suspects were killed by the police. 8 are still being sought.
They said it was like 20. They said 28 people came into their house. Like, so that's like, you know,
They was coming to finish the job. Like it wasn't no. That's crazy. That was a hit. That was a hit.
That just goes to show you how serious and how deep some of these countries and their politics in the street. They I don't know.
Money, power, politics.
Did y'all hear about that? Or I heard about it, so I don't know the full story. But it happened here. It was a golfer that got killed.
Okay.
Oh man.
I was gonna get to that. Okay. So we might as well get to that now.
Atlanta like Grand Theft Auto right now.
So this was really bizarre here in Atlanta, Cobb County, specifically Kennesaw. A professional golfer was murdered on the golf course at the 10th hole. The professional golfer's name, I don't know. I'm looking it up right now. The professional golfer's name, why don't y'all just have his name just up here when I'm looking at it?
Gene Siller.
There you go.
And not only did they kill him, they killed a few people, right?
So this is what happened.
I just saw they captured. It was a black guy.
Yeah.
And he got arrested.
This is what happened. The professional golfer was playing golf, minding his business, and a truck drove up on the golf course. The truck had 2 dead bodies bound and gagged in the bed of the truck. The professional golfer approached the truck, and the gunman shot him because he saw what was in the truck. Mm-hmm. The gunman got away. So the stories were 3 dead people, and it was confusing. People didn't really understand what was going on. So for days, they were saying, you know, they still haven't apprehended anyone. They don't know who it is. The owner of the truck is one of the dead bodies, so we know it's not him. Mm-hmm. It went on, and I'm thinking, okay, if they blended in the Kennesaw on the golf course, then they might look like them, right? Nope. A couple days ago, the news came on. They found the suspect, young Brian Roden, 23 years old, was apprehended in Chamblee, Georgia, about a half an hour from the crime scene Thursday evening in connection with the shootings with help from the U.S. Marshal Service, the Cobb County Sheriff Office said. He was charged with 3 counts of murder, 3 counts of aggravated assault, and 2 counts of kidnapping. Roden was identified as a suspect days after the incident at the Pine Tree Country Club in Kennesaw, and he has ties to the metro Atlanta area. Apparently, this young man allegedly shot somebody when he went to Georgia State. Wasn't charged. Apparently, he was suspected in some drug charges, so much so that they arrested him in the airport, Atlanta airport. They did not charge him then either. Allegedly, he was taken into custody for a DWI the same day that this golfer was murdered.
Wow.
And he had a drunk driving charge. So he was in jail. So I don't know how they were looking for him. He was already in jail. But then he got out of jail on the drunk driving charge. And the sheriff, who still had the money from the airport, called him up and said, hey, remember when we arrested you and we took your thousands of dollars? Why don't you come back and get it? We're going to give you your money back. And when he got there, he got arrested for murder.
Wow.
So
that's a lot.
I'm about to say, that sounds like a lot of some framing going on.
I think so, too. This is a young rapper from Atlanta. If you go on his page, it looks like every other rapper page. He's got in front of a Bentley. He's at the club. He's got a new song out. He's rapping. He's traveling.
See, look, I'm reading a headline. I think it's 11 Alive. A look at Cobb County's triple homicide suspect, criminal history, music career, and 27,000 PPP loan.
Oh shit!
Oh wow! Now that's a headline.
Wow! Wow!
Damn, what do they got to do with anything?
Wow!
That's crazy, man.
So yeah, that sounds like a lot is going on. To me, it also sounds like he has a lot involved in the street, but also he got some connection with the cops. Because how did you get away the first time you shot somebody when you were in college? Then you got away with this money.
That's how I like he got to know. I like that's when you was saying all that. I was like, I wonder who he knows. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, you know, even like a DWI, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's when,
I mean, I guess he bailed out on that.
yeah,
but
you
then
bail out, but like still, like, you know, you said he shot somebody in
college.
You know what I'm saying? Was it self defense? Like he just like. Most of the time, he's living a very exciting life, like to say the least. Like,
He was until Thursday. Now he's.
We gonna see. He might beat this.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
for
like,
the way you just explained that story,
know,
he might mess around and beat this and become the biggest rapper.
Like crazy things have happened. This is Atlanta. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this Gotham City right now. We just don't have a Batman. Like,
that
it's
was
going
the craziest thing of the week for me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was the craziest thing of the week for me. Also, something happened. A judge rejected the attempt to stop parts of Georgia's voting law this week. A federal judge denied an effort to invalidate parts of Georgia's voting law on Wednesday. The first court ruling upholding new rule passes after last year's election. U.S. District Judge J.P. Boulay wrote in his order that it wouldn't change the law in the 9th inning. Amid ongoing runoffs for the State House, Boulay reserved judgment about future elections. The lawsuit by the Coalition for Good Governance, an election security organization, opposed new requirements that voters request absentee ballots at least 11 days before Election Day, a deadline that limited the time available to vote by mail in the runoffs. The case also asked for court intervention to prevent restrictions on election observation. Election administrators have prepared to implement the challenged rules, have implemented them at least to some extent, and now would have to grapple with a different set of rules in the middle of an election, Boulay wrote in an 11-page order. The risk of disrupting the administration of an ongoing election outweigh the alleged harm to plaintiffs at this time. So the Supreme Court sided with Nevada, and they kind of said it's okay that they're doing these changes to the voting laws in these states. So that's why it is super duper uber important for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act to pass.
Yeah, and we've talked about that a few times on the show.
We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's also important that they pass that. This is crazy. Everybody, please take voting seriously. Whatever time, whatever limit, whatever rules they put out there, just do it. Because they're trying to make it harder and harder and harder and harder for people to vote. And you should look at anybody that has discouraged you from voting or told you not to vote or told you to hold your vote hostage in the past with a super duper side eye, because look where we are now. The Republicans have said that they are not in any way, shape, or form trying to negotiate with the Democrats or get anything passed. They will put their foot down and give it a hard no. They're only here to stop Democrats from helping people do what they need to get done. I've never seen anything like this before, and I've lived a really long time.
This is on the federal or state level.
The federal level.
So just help me understand. So what's the advantage of having majority? Like, just to the regular person, this don't sound like we don't have an advantage with majority. Oh, I'm gonna stop saying we first and foremost.
We fought so hard for the majority. Now it's
Or Democrats. I'm gonna stop saying we because I don't know what I am.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to be anything.
Yeah, I don't know
You
which
don't
side I
have to
really
say,
lean
you don't have
on
to
or
say
whatever.
you're on a side. You just
But I'm just
take
saying,
it in and you make your own decision.
what's the like? I don't feel like this should be if we know it if one side knows it's wrong, and that one side that feel like it's wrong has the majority. With the other side, the Republicans are saying it's like, okay, y'all don't have to agree, but we have majority. When we sit down and vote on this, And like I said, I'm just coming from
Well, the filibuster
general-
is the problem because you have to have like a supermajority, so you have to have all of the Democrats vote and a certain number of Republicans vote, and we never get enough Republicans
Yeah, that
to
certain
vote.
number of Republican votes never happen.
So they never do that. So what having the majority, to answer your question, would say is, hey, you know what? We're not doing that anymore. We don't care. We don't need 10 of you. We don't need any of you. We're going to do this on our own. And they have yet to do that. That's what people are saying, that they should kill the filibuster. That's what they mean. They don't want you to have to negotiate with them.
Yeah,
They're determined not to.
That's what
and
we
you
felt.
have to do it now because we only have the majority until the elections that start happening again next year. We don't know
Yeah.
how that's going to flip it.
Because I feel like when the Republicans had it with Trump, they was making
did
this
whatever they
executive
wanted to do,
decisions, even
right.
with the girl,
Even with the judges.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they made decisions. So why is it so hard for now that you have the
Because
power?
they're trying to still play.
But you see again, like this even goes into a deeper conversation of black people keep putting their faith in these people. They get the power and they're not even doing what they're not even putting their foot down. They still want to be.
Feel like black people just get used as a marketing employee too.
That's
like,
it.
So let's look
That's
at it.
it.
Let's look at it from a historical context, right? The John Lewis Act aims to restore provisions of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that were struck down by the Supreme Court in 2013 on grounds that they were obsolete. While a previous version of the legislation passed the House in 2019, it never secured a vote in the then Republican Senate. Back to your point. A new version of the bill is under development, but the Congressional Black Caucus, which is again updating the provisions the court found fault with to ensure the bill will pass judicial muster if enacted. Its sponsors eliminate the bill will be introduced in late June or in July. How does the John Lewis Act differ from H.R. 1? Descriptions of the two pieces of legislation are often boiled down to the For the People Act as broad and the John Lewis Act as narrow. That's true, but the bigger difference is that H.R. 1 is highly perceptive bill preempting state voting and election laws, mandating many practices, automatic and same-day voter registration, easily available early voting, and prohibiting many others, unnecessary voter roll purges and partisan gerrymandering, which we see being done here in Georgia more and more and more. When we had Mina here, she was talking about gerrymandering and the fact that even in the Georgia 6th district, they are trying to move the barriers of the district around so that, you know, the lines are gray and who's in what district, and okay, now you're in this district, so now you're going to be put against this person. So you have to be careful because it's like they set the rules, and then when we meet it, they move they change it again.
Keep changing the finish
Because
line.
we voted. You see, when all this started in 2013, because what happened in 2012? We elected Obama.
Yeah. Has to be. I always tell people in politics, you learn quickly. There always has to be a reaction. Like,
Yeah, there's always a white lash.
And that's why, like, going back to telling people the importance of voting. Like next year, like once again, we vote again. Like for a lot of these seats, and like the majority will be in question again. So it's kind of like we have to be not only voting, but we have not. When we start voting, we have to continue that progression to become informed voters also.
Right.
So we can know what's going on out here.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
But it's definitely uphill battle. I think, you know, once again, not downing anybody because like we want everybody to vote. Please do, like, you know, that
Yes.
if you get nothing else from this show, one of the things we want you to pick up is
Right.
to go vote.
Vote and hold the people accountable. Find out what because I'm like hearing all this stuff about how they hate what the Democrats are doing, but what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, what are you actually doing for the people in your district?
But that's it. It doesn't. I always tell people, and I think we were talking about this on a previous episode, how politics right now isn't necessarily about substance. It's almost a popularity contest. Who has the best marketing? Who has the biggest voice? And that's why people like Green Taylor or winning right now, because they're just loud. They literally just, you know, it doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't matter what they do. They just dominate the airways by just saying whatever the heck they want to. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of puts you, like, once again, if you don't understand certain levels of the game, it puts you at a disadvantage because you don't. It's kind of like, once again, the aspect of why Donald Trump can get on TV and say anything he wants to, and you can't do the same thing. Like, it's a
I mean,
different
but
set of
why?
rules.
Why? I mean, I get it now because, all bets are off. Like, he did what he wanted to do. He said what he wanted to say.
Then they said that they're
So
trying
now
to get Herschel Walker to run for what?
Somewhere. Where
Yeah,
you at?
Senate.
For governor.
Yeah, for
Oh,
governor.
no, for Senate.
For Senate, yeah.
I think they were. So
And you
they
know
need to find a black person to run against the black people.
Exactly.
So they want him to run against Raphael Warnock.
But you.
Vernon Jones is the black person that they got to run against.
And I don't mean
Brian
this as a
Kemp.
personal shot because I don't know Vernon Jones personally, or I don't know Herschel Walker personally either. But the message that I get from both of them isn't too deep. Like, you know what I'm saying? Neither one of them have the. If I stand Raphael Warnock beside Herschel Walker and ask for a decent conversation, I am pretty sure that Herschel Walker couldn't.
Well, Herschel Walker has a mental. He has a multiple personality
but I'm saying,
disorder.
and
So
like,
I'm
once
not
again,
sure.
not taking a shot at him, but like, once again, just different calibers of.
I'm not taking a shot at him. That's just
expertise.
the facts.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even take Herschel Walker seriously outside of, athletics, just because he hasn't he hasn't put in the work. He hasn't, done anything violent in politics to where he shouldn't be taken as anything except for a sideshow or a pawn in the game of a bigger picture. So
Yeah, I think that should have been the lesson we kind of learned with the Donald Trump situation. Like, we need qualified people.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't, like you said, it ain't no shot at these people, but we need qualified people. And it ain't necessary that he's not qualified, but he hasn't shown us on a national level or on a big scale that you're qualified to lead
right
a whole state or whatever the position is.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what we're losing in this information age where everything happens so fast. It's kind of like, even with the news, like, you see it didn't. I remember when we were coming up, like, the news used to be like a trusted source of information. Like, you watching the news in the evening to really see what was going on. But now it's not even about reporting stuff right. It's about reporting it first. Like,
Exactly.
we see so much stuff that, even some of our bigger figures on social media, I can't count how many times, like, Sean King has had to retract stuff or, like, you know what I'm saying, but everybody just wants to be first. It doesn't matter what kind of damage it does to people or, you know what I'm saying, how much damage it does to just life in general. Everybody just wants attention, even if it's empty attention.
And too, like, what was I about to say? We live in a world where, like you say, back in the day, the news was the only source.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like you got the access to really search information.
But
the news is like, even with the news is really just people like us writing stories.
And that's why I always tell people, like, people be like, man, how you be? I always tell, if you ever want to know what's going on in real time, go to Twitter. Like,
Yeah, that's
Twitter,
it.
Like, you on Twitter, you can literally see crime scenes unfold sometimes because somebody literally will pull out their phone and live tweet.
Yep.
Like, it's really a thing. Like,
And that's why I'm like, why do people get so caught up on, is it real or is it fake? You can actually go find out from the source.
Your own research.
You can do your own research. You can find out from the source.
But
directly.
that's why I always tell people, like, I feel like we're living in the new dark ages because, like, we have access to so much information. We can figure out whatever the heck we want to. So, like, for people to be so not good at deductive reasoning to find out if stuff is real or not, or like if something's happening for real, like, it's so many just urban legends going on that could be easily solved.
And then
by.
you have to think too. I've realized in my, scrolling that not only critical thinking but reading comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to read what people didn't say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, don't make an assumption. You have to read literally what it says, and that'll help you figure out what it doesn't say.
That's one thing, and that's what I
people
always
do.
say. Like, that's one thing I can always say about Twitter that I like. Like, even though it's like a bunch of like arguing and shit all the time, like, it's necessary because it's like Kim just said, you get to see in between the lines, like, and you get to see what people are not saying, and it just sparks conversation, like, more than anything, like. And I think that's just really what people need, to have conversation instead of being stuck on this one side and not seeing the other side.
And I think sometimes too, like, when we get into certain arenas or we get into certain circles, sometimes we forget that everybody doesn't have that perspective.
Exactly.
Like, everybody doesn't have internet access that they can just get on their phone and look stuff up. So, like, it's that question. I try to stay humble and, like, but it's hard sometimes when you're sometimes we get so caught up in our own cycles of thought that we forget that everybody doesn't have that perspective. So like you said, it does make for interesting conversations. And
I learned that going to college, like going to college and just being around different type of black people per se, like with different backgrounds. I'm like, it's just like, okay, I was talking to my boy about this the other day because we went down 2 different paths, and it was just like I was telling him, like, man, how college just really opened my eyes, and Cincinnati has a mentality. It's hard to explain, but everybody from Cincinnati got the same mentality. And when I moved away, I started noticing, like, dang, I got this same mentality, and it was like, I'm able to recognize it, so I'm able to change it. And it's just like, just from experiencing different cultures, being around different people.
And I think that's the human effect too of, like, we all come from different places, but like Kim, like, she has habits that, like, she probably can tell us stuff that happened in Jersey, and we like, what the hell? Like, nobody cares about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But in Jersey, it's dynamic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, same thing for like Ohio and Mississippi. I'm probably like, even the stores and stuff like that, you probably like, man, I don't care nothing about that. But like for me, it's kind of like that's the store I ate at when I was growing up. Like, it's dynamic for me. So, and I feel like, once again, we have to realize that we're from different backgrounds and different perspectives. But like, I'm sure Ohio got some good food. When I come up to Ohio, it's like,
always a common ground.
Yeah,
it's always a common ground.
And that's what we have to. I always say we have to not ignore our differences, but also be willing to accept that commonality between humans. And I feel like if we can do that more, we'll be all right. But so everybody doesn't think like that. It's kind of like my perspective or no way at all.
Exactly.
And that's where we run into issues.
Yeah. People really did grow up sheltered, and so they're not really ready to open their mind up to other ways of thinking.
Yeah.
And that is causing a problem. One of the things too that I wanted to bring up, you were talking about this earlier, Dom. Nikole Hannah-Jones.
Yeah. She
and Ta-Nehisi Coates will be working at Howard University.
Oh yeah, that's a big win right there for HBCUs.
Nikole Hannah-Jones wrote the 1619 Project. Have any of you guys checked that out? I mean, I remember like last year.
I've heard of it because it was a
you
big
guys
win.
really need to check it out, and I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
The 1619 Project, she wrote it. It's about American history and slavery from 1619 on. Yeah. So it really goes deep into that. She has caught so much backlash for writing this. The New York Times that's where she wrote it for. It was a New York Times thing.
Yeah.
So much so that they made a 1776 project.
Oh yeah.
Telling the white side of the story.
It's always got to be a reaction.
So that has sparked this new thing that everyone is hearing. I don't know if you guys have heard critical race theory being thrown around lately.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
hot button topic right now.
Okay, so board members asked for more information about her academic credentials when originally declining to take up her proposed tenure. So originally she was not going to be given her tenure at UNC.
And for anybody that doesn't know, for professors, like, tenure is like the Bible. Like, you work hard so you can get tenure and you can live happily ever after, basically. Like, it's really, really hard for them to fire you. Like, you got to do something crazy to get fired after you have tenure.
Yeah.
Like, you literally got to, like, lose it or something. That's how prestigious it is to have tenure at universities.
They declined to take up her proposed tenure. It soon became clear that significant opposition had emerged to her work on the 1619 Project, a New York Times initiative she conceived on the legacy of slavery and on U.S. society today. Opposition came from some donors, specifically Walter Hussman, a UNC donor and Arkansas newspaper publisher whose name adorns UNC's journalism school. Hussman, who is also an alumnus, told NPR he was given pause by some prominent scholars' criticism that Hannah-Jones distorted historical record in arguing that the protection of slavery was one of the founding fathers' primary motives in sneaking independence from the British. Hannah-Jones recently tweeted she will be able to back up that connotation in forthcoming book.
I have a question for you guys. Just, intertwining, like, the subject now with critical race theory, because, like, once again, that's a hot button subject right now. What do you guys feel about critical race theory in general being such a hot button topic right now?
So basically, they're trying to scare people.
Yeah.
there are no theories that are taught in elementary schools
Exactly.
because it's a theory, right? Until a theory is proven, it cannot be added to any curriculum. So y'all need to calm down. That's number one. Calm down. I don't know who told
I'm about
y'all
to say, I've never
that
been taught critical
the
race
only
theory
thing
in
that
grade school.
if you were in
It's a
college,
buzzword. It's a new buzzword.
Right.
you're not even gonna learn it. You're gonna learn it like in a master's
I'm about to say,
or a
you learn in
doctoral
bachelor's,
program.
Right. You're advanced before
Because
you even,
now you get to explore these theories as a part of your education, right? Whoever is telling you people that they're teaching it to your kid at school, they're lying. They're not teaching critical race theory in any elementary school. The
It's
backlash.
not like a basic. It's not like a
Right.
like a basic. Like a GED.
It's a theory.
Yeah.
It's still not proven.
No, I'm
It
saying
cannot
as
be
far as
taught.
like as something that needs to be taught. It's not like a class that you have to
It's
take.
not right. No.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
Right, it's an elective.
Yeah, an
Even when you're
elective,
in
yeah.
college, it's an elective.
Yeah.
So calm down. There's people that are going to the board. They're having these debates. They got the news camera there. We don't want critical race theory taught in our school. Okay, because we're not teaching it.
Right.
But only thing that you guys have done is have people start looking up critical race theory. And what critical race theory argues is like what the 1619 Project argues. Were the people that started this country and founded this country that left the British Empire and came here, did they do that specifically so that they could own slaves, create their own rules, and not pay taxes and do whatever they wanted to do and, start this capitalistic society?
Right.
And did they use that to start the laws? Like, are they, in writing these laws and in the criminal justice system, were they using this theory that white people were superior? Did they use that? And I mean, that's a great thing to read about.
Right.
But
I'm
if you
reading
find out that that's really true,
So this is the I can't say the official definition because this is according to Wikipedia. But it's a critical race theory is a body of legal scholarship and academic movement of civil rights scholars and activists in the United States that seeks to critically examine U.S. law as it intersects with issues of race in the U.S. and to challenge mainstream American liberal approaches to racial justice.
Yeah. And I think in totality that's a pretty solid definition. And I think like once again, America is one of those places to where it doesn't want to face its history.
No.
Like we can't change it. Like
We can't.
At this point, it is what it is. So instead of ignoring it and being, so, oh my God, they want to, anything with race, it just scares people. So I hope, like once again, from all this misinformation on what critical race theory is, that a few
People really
start,
find out what it is.
actually really figure out what it is, because it's nothing more frustrating than seeing Vernon Jones, who's about to run for governor, use critical
running
race,
on that.
Yeah, running on that, and
That's
literally
the
doesn't
new-
know what it is.
That's the new radical liberal. What they used to say last year?
Yeah, radical.
Radical liberal.
I can't think of the word. I know
But that's the
exactly
opposite of their side, though.
That's the new thing. They
Yeah.
find these buzzwords. They all say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all gonna say,
But I think that's the beauty now too, though. Like, we got the ability to look these words up and be like, "You just saying some bullshit." Because remember back in the day, you would feel like somebody saying some big words like T.I. He's saying all these damn big words, and you think he's saying something, and it's just like this nigga just said, "What's up?"
Yeah.
right.
It was one word. It was on No Buffer, matter of fact. And Steve, he do the word of the week, and I think the word he said was delicatestics. But that's just what deli is.
Right, just
Short,
deli,
like,
yeah.
let me get a deli sandwich. I say, man, I'm gonna meet a girl. Let's go get some delicatestic sandwiches. And she gonna think I'm cultured or something. Like,
Oh man.
So they're giving her a hard time. So she is a decorated journalist. She won some of the most prestigious awards. Excuse me, I know I mispronounced a couple of words today, but just bear with me because I can't barely see with these glasses and this light and all that. Anyway, she won some of the most prestigious awards in journalism and beyond. She won a MacArthur Genius Grant for her reporting on the persistence of segregation in American life. She won a Pulitzer Prize for her essay accompanying the 1619 Project. She also won a Peabody Award for a 3-part project for the public radio show This American Life on racially segregated schools in contemporary America. She received a National Magazine Award as well. Beyond that, she earned a master's degree from UNC in 2003 a former reporter for the News and Observer in Raleigh. She's also a reporter for Portland's The Oregonian and the investigative outlet ProPublica. So those are some of the organizations and some of the papers and organizations that she works with. So I would read some of them. Like, you know, we talk about fake news, but when you talk about journalism, there are some real journalists out here that do the work, that do the research, and these are some of them. These are some of them. These are people that actually dedicate their life to find out more information, to share it with you so that you'll be more educated.
Right.
And that's what this woman is trying to do. But because some of the people at UNC didn't agree with her work, they didn't want to give her her tenure. So you know what she did? She chucked the deuce and she went over to Howard.
Yeah.
HBCU.
And people don't realize too, also, UNC is looking so bad right now. One, because an esteemed professor like her doesn't come along like very often. Like,
this is her life work.
Yeah, like,
she's dedicated her life to this.
And all those accolades that you just named for her, those are just a small piece.
That's just a piece of it.
Work.
That's just what pertains to this subject.
Right. So I just want people to realize how crazy it was for them not to want to give her
Well, the
tenure.
donor, you know, they were trying to keep these people happy because his argument was her credential. She was helping erode trust in the press by ignoring important journalistic principles of objectivity. So he wanted her to see it from a white perspective. He wanted to give the other side of the story.
I think we talked about it. I think it happened earlier this year, but like you say, that's UNC, right? North Carolina. The fact that you saying that they wanted to see it from a white perspective, and then with was it Hugh Davis, the coach?
The coach, yeah.
He talk about I'm up here with my white wife. I got a beautiful white wife. Like him reiterating that.
Right.
It is like that culture down there is kind of
it's different.
You know,
like,
they got an agenda they pushing.
And that's
So
why
that's
I'm
how
so
it comes
happy
across. That's how it
for-
comes across.
That's why I'm
that's
so
how it
happy
comes across,
for
right.
her, because it's no feeling better to be somewhere where you're accepted. I feel like for far too long, Black Americans and Black people in general have been fighting for space every tooth and nail, and people don't really want us there. So I'm so happy to see a talents such as these two bring their talents home too, where it'll be loved, where it'll be respected, where it'll be, you know what I'm saying? Not saying it won't be any issues, because there are issues everywhere you go, but to be amongst your own and to be respected on the level that you should be.
We see people flipping the script all the time, right? Now they're saying, well, they're teaching racism. They're teaching people to be racist. No, they're giving facts.
Right.
So you do with those facts what you will. You know that this is what happened, then draw up your own conclusions. But it's like they're afraid if people find out the truth, what is that going to do? What do you think that would do?
I mean, they know what it's gonna do. It's the same thing. We just spoke on this before. That every time I watch certain things, like it sparks some type of emotion in me sometimes.
And it makes you do something about it.
It makes me do sometimes it makes me do something depending on how impactful it was. Like it makes me like, man, let me be a better person. Like even it don't even necessarily have to be about race and all that all the time with white people.
Right.
It just might be like this is
Anything.
going on in the world. For example, I watched What the Health.
It changed the way you ate.
I stopped eating pork because they said that porks, they don't sweat, so they're never fully clean. So I just took that initiative, like, okay, I care about myself. Let me just stop doing this. It made me do something because I got that information. Like, if I didn't have that information, I'd still be eating pork. So, I think it's good that we get this information, and it just depends on what you do with it.
And that's what I think the great divider in all of this is the truth doesn't care about your feelings.
No,
like,
it doesn't.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
the
at
truth
all.
is the truth. Whether, and this past year, 2 years, where everybody's been hollering fake news and all stuff like this, even a lot of those people, or like a lot of these organizations that were hollering fake news, you see a lot of them quiet now because a lot of them got sued. They got, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're keeping it quiet.
They getting banned.
Yeah.
Rudy Giuliani
can't practice law
can't
anymore.
practice law in New York or in D.C.
You know what I'm saying? And like, once again, these are the things that go, we realize they happen because we pay attention to this stuff, but like stuff like that flies under the radar because everybody wants to share their wins, and like when they on top, but those L's, like you don't see Rudy Giuliani on TV every day now. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't see.
But they only need a little bit of time to get that fake point across.
Oh yeah.
And they polarize those people in that short amount of time, and it makes them make decisions going forward. So now they're all confused.
But that's what we all, and Jay Black said this all the time. That's why, like, I wasn't so afraid of Trump. Trump just a figurehead. Like he said, he's a representation of millions of other people out here that actually are crazy enough to go out here and do some of this stuff without thought. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Trump not gonna, just like when he told all those people to go to the Capitol, hey, I'll meet you down there. Like, we're gonna do this together, and he would nowhere to be found. Now, a lot of them folks, once again, they not showing these folks getting arrested and the FBI rolling to their house. They not showing them losses. Like, a lot of folks out here, they not punishing them folks. Like, a lot of them folks is in jail right now.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
But they don't show that part.
And that's the thing. People think just because you don't see it, like, just because you don't see stuff is going on.
Right.
Like, even though I know y'all don't like my guy no more. He lost his legend status, but that's the same thing Ice Cube said.
Oh, I ain't
Ice
Ice
Cube,
Cube
he said, because they asked and he was like, yeah, I'm not putting that out in public because people don't know what to do with certain information. He like, so I just move in the background.
Yeah.
And shoot, I get it. Like,
that was a good interview. I watched the interview.
Which one you watched? I watched the one with Big Boy.
No, he was on All
The
the
one
Smoke
you
with
sent.
Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, okay, I already watched that one.
Yeah, he had it.
You sent it to us, right? That interview with Ice Cube. Did you send me that?
I sent you a clip. I ain't seen the whole interview. I think I sent you a clip or excerpt from it.
The clip I watched, first of all, do you remember the part of the contract that was specifically dealt with entertainers? I'm leaning more toward that's the part that he's focusing on now. You know what I'm saying?
But he said at the same time, no, if that is,
because
that's perfect. That's his lane. But he said he got a whole group of advisors, of activists and people.
Good.
I
Thank
don't
you,
know.
Ice Cube.
Like I said, I don't know. But I'm just saying
I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did.
He actually wants people with expertise in certain
Yeah.
areas. to
Thank
come
you, Ice
forward,
Cube. Thank you.
You know, so he can sit down. But
I ain't even saying that I'm saying thank you to him. My point was bringing that up was that you can't tell everybody what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because that's even with on the regular, like people say, don't tell people your next boy, your dreams and all that, because now you're starting to get opinions from everybody else. No, you should do it like this. You should do it this way.
Right.
It's just like, man, sometimes you just gotta assemble your team and just move and just put it out. Like,
true.
you know, that action speak.
I agree. But yeah, I'm about to say we're gonna have to invite Ice Cube up here one day and let him look him in the eye so he can get himself out the doghouse. You can't throw the legends away.
Timing is everything. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? If you were so gung-ho about all of this, you see what the position that we're in now. They don't even want us to vote. Like, you have to be careful. That wasn't the right time for that.
Nobody to vote.
I was happy to hear him say, like, in the interview with on All the Smoke, he admitted he was like, you know, I was naive in the sense that, like, a lot of these corporations, they talk a good game, but when it come down to actually,
Yeah, I heard that part.
Yeah, so I was happy to just hear him say that because, like, once
That's what they
again,
did to him.
Yeah, sometimes
essentially.
we go in with false hope of it's kind of like if I know, you know what I'm saying, something happen every day, like I can't wake up and expect something different to happen, you know, just because I'm me or like you know, think I'm somebody special. They treat Ice Cube just like they do the rest of us. Like they appeased him, they strung him along, and then they put him back outside the house with everybody else.
Remember they photoshopped the picture of Trump 2020 on him on his head, him and 50 Cent.
Yeah.
They used him, 50 Cent,
They
Lil
used
Wayne,
That's
and
the
that
internet,
other dude.
though. That's the internet, though. That's the internet. The
But
internet's gonna do that regardless.
No, they did that.
Who did?
Yeah, I'm about to say
The
the
Trump-
actual
the
Trump
Trump
campaign
did
did
that.
that. Yeah, because
His
he
son
actually had to address
tweeted
him.
it.
Yeah, he's like, take this down.
Yeah, and then Ice Cube was like, bruh, you tripping.
But yeah, they wouldn't ride him, you know, to the
50
wheel
Cent
fall.
said they were giving 150,000 just to take pictures and like say go Trump or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, he was gonna do it. He was like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Lil Wayne too. They was like, hey, they was giving us $100,000.
He got Wayne out of jail.
Right, I'm about to say.
Shit, I ain't mad at Wayne and Kodak for like, you feel me? Like, shit, I appreciate you too, my nigga.
So you would do it?
If I'm getting out of jail, if this nigga helped me get out of jail, like, Wayne was about to face some jail time for his
Alright, you
good.
gonna do 20 years and you gonna at least
Take a
see
picture
what-
with Trump that don't
But
matter
you're
right
only-
now.
You're only letting me
It ain't
off.
even a year
You're
later.
only-
We don't give a fuck about that picture no more. Like, this nigga ain't even in office. That don't even matter no more. Like, that
It
picture
does
don't-
though, because
Why?
he's still posting pictures with Trump shit on.
Him
Who?
and Kodak
Kodak.
Black.
I mean, he different. He different.
But no, I mean, we're looking at it from our perspective, y'all. Like we just said, you got to look at it from the perspective of a young kid in Miami that's 18 that really doesn't know much about nothing, but you see Kodak with this Trump shit on. You got to look at it like that. The dude
But he got his reason, and that's the thing.
He
like,
got his reason, but his reason is for him. That's gonna
that's
fuck you up, though.
But that's
check
what I'm
this
saying.
out, though.
People
Check-
vote for their own people, their own policies for them. They don't vote for the masses.
And if you following Kodak Black for your political journey, anyway, you
Yeah,
gonna lose anyway.
You
so
already
like,
tripping. Like, if that's your leader, that's your king.
like you already down the long road. That, like you know.
You need to reconsider anyway. Like,
Oh man.
Man, that boy Kodak boy, he got some issues. But also here in Georgia, Brian Kemp has kicked off his campaign, y'all. Sister Stacy, where you at, sis?
That's why I'm like, man, like they be calling they shot, like they so confident that, like, you know.
Yeah,
what I'm
they've
saying?
already started campaigning. They're putting money out there. They're starting the narrative. They're gonna start with the critical race theory. If you don't vote for
And I
us,
feel
all
like
the
this
black people
happens
are gonna be
every
taught to
time.
rebel.
Like we wait to like
The ninth inning.
Yeah, to show our cards, and it's kind of like, man, like you've lost so much time to do work.
They're already putting a negative narrative out there about Stacey Abrams. They put her last time. They hooked her up with Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Now they're gonna hook her up with critical race theory. They're putting their narrative out there, and she's still trying to lay the framework for voting. At some point, she's gonna have to back off from that and kind of focus on her campaign if she's running. I mean, we don't even know if she's running.
Yeah, I said she may not even.
I mean,
run.
she might not even run. Like, look what Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton. Okay, y'all don't want to fuck with me. Okay, like you want to fuck with Trump, then here you go. Have him. She didn't run again.
Yeah. But once again, I think living here.
She needs to hurry up. She needs to hurry up. When do you guys think she's gonna announce it? Let's start a bet. I say by July 15th.
it's next fall, not this fall.
It's
2022.
2022.
My initial hope was June.
But there's gotta be a deadline, right?
What's the average? How long do they usually announce? How long do they usually campaign?
I think it's
Like probably like a year.
A
Like
year.
a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, she
Most
got some
times.
time.
a year.
she has time, but look, this guy is already campaigning. He's already starting his shit.
But you said he been campaigning his wole time
the
there.
whole
So
time.
you feel
But
me?
see, what happened was
And
he got
also-
fucked up because Trump.
That's what I was about to say.
They don't like him anymore. Trump is like hates him because he wouldn't help him cheat.
And they're
He
literally
wouldn't
about to
help him win the
fund
election.
Vernon Jones or whoever else they need
Right.
to
So
try
that's
to-
gonna split the Republican vote. See what I'm saying? Like we always say chess not checkers or whatever when it comes to certain things. They really know how they're playing it because they've already started playing.
Mm-hmm.
They've already got their candidates in line. They've already split. They already see that Vernon Jones is going to be the contender for Brian Kemp on the Republican side. We don't know if Stacey Abrams is running and who's going to run on her on the Democratic side.
Right.
But the Democrats need to step it up, bro.
Jay Blackface said it all. He's
Hey,
like, man,
man.
like, you know.
No, we need to know. We need to get it together. We got work
What
to do.
you seen that? You seen that Uncle Phil meme? We. When him and Will was in the living. We.
Why do you say we? Yeah, we.
I'm not saying we.
We just trying to make it through the
What
jungle.
is he?
That
Why
way
isn't
we
he
know
saying
how.
we? Do you know why he's not?
Because I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I'm
like
not.
once again, like ideally, like my heart is with you. My mind with Jay Black, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because what he's saying makes sense. But I feel how you feel.
I guess if I had to pick a side, you just submit. You submitting to that one side because the other side's so fucked
Okay,
up.
right.
So,
Right.
but you
Right,
know,
like this is what I need y'all to understand, right? I get it. If I was born in 1967, I would have been, or I would have had to have been born before that. But if I was around in 1960 something, I would probably have been a part of the Black Panther Party or one of the other new young movements starting up. Or I would have been a part of whoever else had started something new. But right now, today, what we have to deal with, we only have two, y'all. You could be an independent, you could be a giraffe, you could be a sheep. I don't care what you call yourself. Right now, today, the people that we have to choose from
do
are
you
these
do
people.
you have two or do you have none?
Cause right now we only have one, and that one is not a Super Bowl.
Yeah, like
we
the
don't even know
one
who's
that,
on
that
the
we
other side.
supposed to
hoping.
have ain't
Like,
even
you know
really
what I'm
doing
saying?
what they supposed to be doing. So do you have two or none?
At this very moment.
Right now, none.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, and that's what makes it so hard.
So-
When have we ever had two?
Last November. Oh, 2 Novembers ago. 2018.
When?
2018.
I'm saying, when have we ever had one of those sides work in the black favor?
In 2018, Stacey Abrams.
What did we get out of Stacey Abrams?
She lost. We didn't get anything.
When did we ever have that work in our favor? Any one of those sides work in the black favor? When, like,
with
I'm
Jay
just,
Black.
and I'm really just asking, like, when, like, for us to be so committed,
That's an open-ended
for
question.
you to be so committed, and
It's
for
not
the
that
people
I'm
to have
so
this hold on
committed.
you.
It's like you gotta do what you gotta do.
Okay, so just like we always say, like with the, let's go back to sports with the NFL, start your own league, start your own party.
That's what I'm saying. Start your own party, but when? The day before the election? Because that's what we
I'm
always
just saying
do.
you gotta be.
Like, if
I
that's
feel like you
gonna
gotta
happen,
separate
let's do
first.
it.
You gotta separate first.
We are separated.
No, we're
are
not,
in
because
our
people
own
still,
community.
just like you keep saying, people are still they got this chokehold.
But
You're-
didn't Puffy
you're-
say he was starting a party?
We ain't heard from Puffy since he said that.
But that's the thing, like people don't want to get behind it and
These
do
are the
stuff like
people you
that.
give your money and your attention to.
But people got to get behind it though. It got to be like, you know, somebody can start the. But
Puffy
it's
told
still
you to
takes people
hijack or hold your vote hostage, and he was going to start
right,
his
that's
own
what I'm
party.
saying.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, just like we said with Kodak, you got to just think about who you listening to. Like, you know, you gonna listen to me coming off the street to teach your lecture, or you gonna listen to the what's the lady we just said that went to Howard?
Nicole Hannah-Jones.
You gonna listen to her or me? Like, you,
But
it's
and I feel
MLA.
like that's what we
Check
be
your
in life.
sources.
We be arguing with people that like we shouldn't argue with. It's
Yeah.
like once again, like that's like me coming in here and arguing with you about these lights, this video stuff. Like it's so disrespectful. Like you know what I'm saying? Like this what you been doing. This your life's work. I come
But
in
that's
here-
what we do. We celebrity
Yeah.
worship. And because I like your song, I want to know who you vote for.
Right. And it's kinda
Because I like your song, you make great music. I'm gonna listen to you about who are you getting the vaccine? Because I love your song. You're a great producer.
Right.
Are you getting the vaccine? No. Okay. Well, you must know what you're talking about because you make great songs. You make a lot of money, so you must.
I don't
be really
think.
smart.
I think it's deeper than just the songs. I think it's.
I mean, I use that as an
No,
example.
I get what you're saying, and I
You're
get
like,
what you're saying.
yeah.
I think it's more so that I got through your songs. I have a connection with you.
Yeah.
So
So I trust
I
you.
trust you. Just like with my friends, like y'all, if y'all tell me something, I'm more likely to trust it because it's just like, okay, these people. I feel like these people got my best interest, and I think that's the same thing we do with celebrities,
Yeah.
which ain't right.
But that's not the fact. That's not the
that ain't
case.
right. You still got to do your own research. Even if y'all tell me something, I'm gonna take it at face value, but I'm gonna still do my research. Like, okay,
And then you gonna
like
argue the hell with us. when
like you
come back
always
on
tell me
Sunday.
about the COVID stuff. I still do my own research.
Right, you should absolutely. Absolutely. So now we're dealing with the COVID. We might have to put masks back on again, y'all. The Delta
Tokyo,
variant.
the
The
Olympics
Olympics
that are in jeopardy.
The Olympics is not having any spectators.
How do y'all feel about this? Because I seen this on the page and I wanted to talk about it. We always said the Chinese were ahead because they always wear masks. I saw a post on the page that said that only 15% of their country is vaccinated. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about them not
Totally
pushing
different.
that and not being? And
Ooh,
it's
Japan?
or Tokyo? Was it
Tokyo.
Tokyo?
Yeah, Tokyo is in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
said only 15% of their
Yeah. Most of the
population.
population is not vaccinated.
Well, that's why they're not having people come there.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, how do y'all feel about that approach instead of like the American approach and we pushing it on everybody?
I think that once again, it's one of those things to where here in America, like in a lot of other places, like we opening up, we going back to life as usual. Like it's that false sense of everything's okay, and I feel like in this country, that's just how we operate. Like you know what I'm saying, and it sucks. But in Tokyo, Japan, all those places like that, like that's why that region is so feared by America. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Tokyo had 14,000 deaths.
that's a
Total?
lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? in the whole scheme of things, that's a lot of deaths. That's 14,000 folks that's not here no more.
Yeah.
Just like the 600,000 like worldwide, that's like, you know, almost 1 million people just gone.
Yeah.
So when you,
But Tokyo is just one city. Let's see this whole Japan.
but it's also, that's one of the most concentrated.
Right. You can't compare that to really.
That's one, yeah. The most, in just that country in general, just in comparison to others, just concentrated amount of people.
Yeah.
Okay, so Japan had, that was the whole. They had 819,000 cases and 14,000 deaths.
So yeah.
So they've done pretty well.
And I feel like when something
That's
like
the whole Japan.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm
We
saying.
have
That's
600,000 deaths.
just once again our country. That's what I'm saying.
That's just here in the United States.
And that's what I'm saying. But again, that goes back to that stat. Like only 15% of people are vaccinated, and this is what's happening. And then that, I don't know their population compared to what are ours, but like you say, they on top of each other there.
Mm-hmm.
They on top of each other there. Like
they have 125 million people there.
sheesh.
We have 35 in comparison.
Oh, 125. Oh, okay.
So
That's
they
a
did
big
pretty
difference.
well with COVID, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
Yeah,
With
but
the
that's still a
numbers
big
like that,
difference
yeah.
though.
So maybe they aren't. We don't know what vaccines they're offering them. You have to remember, COVID. We have Pfizer, we have Moderna, and we have Johnson & Johnson here. But there's AstraZeneca. There's a couple of other. There's a whole bunch of vaccines that are offered in different countries. So some countries said we don't want Johnson & Johnson. Get the hell out of here. Okay, AstraZeneca. We'll take. So everybody's not at the same place with the vaccines that we are, because you have to think Pfizer and Moderna, they were made here. So they have to be shipped. They have to be.
No, I understand that, but with all that being said, this stat is saying
I don't like.
of the people that took it, like only 15% of people that took it. It's not that they don't have the vaccine. It's just these people are not taking it, but their numbers are not as bad. And for them, like I say, we've been watching them wear masks our whole lives down there.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think it's part of that culture. Like,
Yeah,
I
they
think
already
just
kind of clean in general. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
like
that.
even just how like the byproduct of like how everybody been wearing masks here, like the flu numbers went down. Like, you know, I feel like with certain stuff, we don't always do well with it, here in America. Cause and effect. Like we think we can do anything we want to, and there not be no consequences for it.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And so I feel like once again, that's why this past year has been so hard on so many like Americans, just because like we're used to traveling where we want to. Like you got folks trying to sneak into Canada, you know what I'm saying, by planes, and marshals got to like people that once again just think they can do whatever they want to. The rules don't apply to them. They're learning differently.
So apparently, Japan is having a problem. The governor has criticized delays in vaccine supplies that forced many municipalities to suspend vaccination appointments. It's ridiculous that we're told that there are no supplies after we're prepared to go ahead. This is what one of the governors said. The government needs to take a look at itself. At the beginning of the meeting, Governor Kaman Ismuli, I'm saying that wrong, but go look it up, president of the National Governors Association, noted that more Delta variant of the virus is fast becoming dominant. We have to fight off a fifth wave. So we had 3 waves, they had 5. The governors also urged the governments to ensure that Tokyo Olympics, set to kick off on July 23rd, do not spread COVID-19 infections, citing concerns that the event will create a large flow of people. Specifically, the governors called the government to manage the activities of foreign athletes and provide preferential and municipal authorities with information about people arriving in Japan promptly. So they're going to be tracking the hell out of those people over there. Like, that's one thing that we fell off on. We did not do contact tracing because everybody was concerned, oh, they're going to know my business. They know your business anyway. But Japan and China, they had contact tracing. Like, when you get off the plane, you have to download an app, and they're going to keep up with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to outweigh. We didn't do that. We didn't do that very well. And I think that now that we have it kind of like under control, before it's the Delta variant sparks up, they should continue that.
Yeah.
Contact tracing so they could get it under control while it's not out of control yet.
And I think ideally, like once again, like it's such common sense of what should be done, but like here in America, it's kind of like Nobody's gonna put that extra effort. The states are divided. You know what I'm saying? Each state's doing something different. The federal government saying one thing. The CDC says we ain't got to wear masks no more. Now the Delta variant's here. Like, it's just a bunch of like.
I mean, it's really not. If you really just pay attention and keep up with it, the CDC is literally the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Mm-hmm. They are going to give you the worst case scenarios because they're trying to prevent shit. Mm-hmm. The World Health Organization is looking at everything. Everybody doesn't have it as bad as we do. But what did Trump do? He cut those people off. Mm-hmm. So we had no perspective for a really long time. Then you know what else the Trump administration did? They didn't want you to report to the CDC. They wanted you to report to the Trump administration. Right. Remember they did that too? Mm-hmm. So like we had lost all sense of, and it wasn't about the information that was coming out because the information was there if you knew how to find it. It's that they did that. They wanted you to be confused because they didn't handle it well.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like we're still there with a
We're
lot of
still
people.
there. So you know what's going to have to happen? More people are going to have to die before people realize that, yeah, you really should have been wearing a mask. You really should have got a vaccine, you know, because now people are going to have to grapple with how serious that variant is, the mutation is, and if anything is going to work to fight it. The more people that are able to get this virus, the easily it's going to mutate. And it's going to get so bad that we don't know if we're going to have anything to fight it. Mm-hmm. People that get vaccinated, it kind of like breaks that chain. But nobody wants to hear that. And everybody's like, well, what's in the vaccine? Read it. Go look it up. Go research it. But what's in COVID? Because it's a virus, like HIV, right? HIV is a virus. Mm-hmm. And you could take something and you could get your virus down to the point where it's no longer being detected in your system. But viruses are very tricky. Right. And viruses can lay dormant in your body. So yeah, you didn't test positive for COVID anymore, but how do you know the next time you catch a cold, it's not going to kick that virus back up? You know what I'm saying? You don't know what COVID is going to do either. Right. So read up on it, but don't only read up on the vaccine, read up on viruses. Right. Because I think people are treating this virus like it's a bacteria. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm just going to get the sniffles if you're lucky. Right. But you don't know if that virus is still laying dormant in your body, but they can't detect it because it's not a lot of it. Mm-hmm. So everybody just needs to keep keeping on. Research, make the best decision for your families.
I think also too, another big thing I'm starting to notice people are talking about is going back to work. How some corporations are starting to try to encourage people to come back to the office when, like, once again, a lot of people are still saying, like, once again, it's a new variant out here. Is like, what's the happy medium of?
Well, the companies had enough time to put their. They have legislation probably that you can't sue me if I get sick at work. Mm-hmm. They weren't going to let you go back to work until they got that straightened out. Mm-hmm. So now there's a way out. Mm-hmm. The way out is the vaccine. So you can't say, oh, I can't because no, there's a way out now.
And that's where it gets sticky because, like, once again, determining pressure of your employees to get vaccinated versus not, like, once again, different people have different beliefs. Like, it becomes a slippery slope on, you know, who's enticed to get the vaccine and why, and
because like, you don't want to die. That's why. But like you said, like, there's still a lot of stuff that the vaccine is gonna have. Some people are getting side effects. Yeah. So
we'll see.
Weigh out your options
as the world turns.
As the world turns. As the world turns. It's a gamble either way, really. Yeah. Because you don't know how your body's going to react to the vaccine. You don't know how your body's going to react to COVID either. Mm-hmm.
Very, very true.
What do you think? You don't care? Everybody just do what you want to do. That's what I say. Yeah. I'm not arguing with nobody.
That's what we've been doing. So that's why I say I don't need to argue. Like, when people be arguing back and forth, I was like, everybody just
do what you want to do. Yeah. Just do what you want to do. That's what I say. I mean, there's no reason to argue anymore. The information is out there. Fucking read it.
Take it as you will.
Right there.
Yeah, period. All right. There was one more thing that I thought was really, really important that before we get out of here that I wanted to talk about. Microsoft. Holy crap.
The Microsoft.
Microsoft is the reason probably for a lot of these hacks.
That's a deep discussion right there.
Windows might be kind of shabby as far as their safety concerns go, because people are getting into it. A Microsoft Windows security flaw is a big deal. Microsoft's latest security vulnerability could have a lingering impact both on consumers and businesses at a time when many around the world are already high alert for disruptive cyber attacks. Researchers at security firm Sangfor recently found a Windows vulnerability called Print Nightmare that could allow hackers to remotely gain access to the operating system and install programs, view and delete data, or even create new user accounts with full user rights. The firm accidentally leaked instructions on how the flaw could be exploited by hackers, exacerbating the need for Windows users to update their systems immediately. If you have Windows at home, please update it. If you have Windows at your office, IT is probably going to send a patch to fix, update it. It's going to be updated. Here's what you should know about the issue and how to address it. All Windows users install an update that affects the Windows Print Spooler service, which allows multiple users to access a printer. The company has already rolled out fixes for Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7, and some server versions. Microsoft ended support for Windows 7 last year, so the decision to push an update to that software highlights the Print Nightmare flaw. Although many Windows users don't have remote access capabilities on their home computers, businesses' computers, or people working remotely and connecting back to the office could be most affected, according to a cybersecurity expert at ABI Research. Y'all, that's another thing. Working from home, all your information is out there. You don't know who's got what on their computer. You don't know who's coming in somebody's house. This is crazy. We were all just thrown into work from home. It wasn't really planned out that well. But that's a security flaw, and now you have this. We need to, cybersecurity, I don't know, that might be something that some black business needs to get into. We need more cybersecurity out there. Be careful, y'all. Be careful. Update your computers, update your software. Look into this if you use Windows for your home or your business. We're going to wrap things up. We will see you guys next time. Does anything else y'all want to say? No?
I don't think so. Had a pretty good solid show.
Yeah. We will continue all conversations on social media as usual. Follow us on CTD_ATL. Also go to innovativeblackstation.com and check out some of our previous episodes. And also we have a page on Facebook. I think Dom is the only one that uses it though. I mean, we talk to each other on there. Yeah. So y'all come on there and get with us.
Liven it up for
sure. And you can listen to us where you listen to your favorite podcast. You guys, will check you out next week. Kimmy Coco signing off. Peace.